Welcome back everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you love discovering hidden treasures, unbelievable coin stories, and the idea that an everyday pocket coin could secretly be worth a fortune, then you are absolutely in the right place. Today's story is one of those jaw-dropping tales that makes people rush to check their change jars and old piggy banks. We're talking about a humble American coin that most people would never look at twice, yet in the right condition, with the right errors and rare characteristics, it has been linked to an astonishing value of up to $342 million. Yes, you heard that right. This is the story of the 1977 1-cent USA coin, a small copper penny with a massive story behind it. At first glance, the 1977 1-cent coin seems ordinary. It's a Lincoln cent, the kind that circulated by the hundreds of millions, passed from hand to hand in grocery stores, gas stations, and school cafeterias. Most people born before the 1990s have handled these pennies countless times. They were used to buy candy, collect change, or simply tossed aside as nearly worthless. Yet history has shown time and again that the most ordinary objects can become extraordinary under the right circumstances, and the 1977 1-cent coin is a perfect example of that reality. To understand why this coin can be worth such an unbelievable amount, we have to start with its background. The Lincoln cent design had already been in use for decades by 1977. The obverse featured Abraham Lincoln, a design originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth. By the late 1970s, the design was deeply familiar to Americans. The reverse side still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, which had replaced the earlier wheat ears design in 1959. Millions upon millions of these coins were produced every year, including in 1977, making it seem impossible that any of them could be rare or extremely valuable. But rarity in coin collecting is not always about how many were minted. Often, it's about how many survived with unique errors, mistakes, or unusual mint characteristics. In 1977, 1-cent coins were produced at multiple mints, primarily the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins from Philadelphia traditionally did not carry a mint mark during this period, while coins from Denver were stamped with a small D beneath the date. On paper, mint records show enormous production numbers for both mints. That's where many people stop their research and assume the coin is common. But the real story begins when we look beyond official mintages and into what actually happened on the production floor. The coin minting process is complex, involving metal preparation, blank creation, die engraving, die installation, striking, inspection, and distribution. At every stage, something can go wrong. When errors happen, they usually slip through unnoticed and end up in circulation. Most of these mistakes are minor and add little value. But occasionally, a truly spectacular error occurs, one that creates a coin so unusual that collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to own it. This is exactly what has driven the legendary value attached to certain 1977 1-cent coins. One of the most talked about errors connected to the 1977 penny is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned. The result is doubling in the design elements, especially noticeable in the date, lettering, and sometimes Lincoln's facial features. On some rare 1977 cents, the doubling is so dramatic that it can be seen with the naked eye. Letters may appear thick, shadowed, or slightly split. The date may look doubled, almost as if two dates were printed on top of each other. These kinds of errors are incredibly desirable, especially when they are strong and well preserved. Another major category of errors involves off-metal strikes. In some extraordinary cases, 1977 1-cent coins were struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-based planchet, a coin might have been struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or composition. Imagine a penny struck on a blank meant for a dime or a foreign coin. The weight, color, and even sound of such a coin would be noticeably different. These off-metal errors are among the rarest and most valuable mistakes in numismatics, and when authenticated, they can command staggering prices. Then there are wrong planchet composition errors tied to transitional metal usage. Although the major composition change from copper to zinc-coated steel since happened in the early 1980s, experimental planchets and leftover materials were sometimes present in mint facilities years earlier. There is long-standing speculation and collector lore about 1977 pennies struck on experimental or leftover planchets with unusual copper ratios or unexpected alloy mixes. If such a coin were proven authentic and unique, it could easily enter the realm of multi-million-dollar valuations due to its historical importance and singular nature. Mint mark errors are another critical piece of the puzzle. A missing mint mark on a coin where one should exist, or a misplaced mint mark that appears too high, too low, or at an odd angle, can significantly increase value. For 1977 pennies, certain Denver Mint coins have been reported with weak, distorted, or partially missing D mint marks. In extremely rare cases, coins may show what appears to be a repunched mint mark, where the mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. These anomalies can turn a common penny into a highly sought-after collector piece. Striking errors also play a massive role in the value story of the 1977 1-cent coin. Broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, cause the coin to spread out, resulting in a wider than normal shape with missing or distorted edges. Off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned on the coin, can leave parts of the coin blank while other parts show the design stretched or compressed. The more dramatic and visually striking the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some off-center 1977 pennies are so extreme that only a portion of Lincoln's portrait is visible, yet the date remains readable, a combination that collectors love. Another fascinating error category is the clipped planchet error. This happens when a blank coin is improperly cut from the metal strip, leaving a curved or straight missing section along the edge. When these clipped blanks are struck, the missing metal creates a distinctive shape that is impossible to replicate intentionally without detection. Authentic clipped planchet errors from 1977, especially large or multiple clips on a single coin, are rare and highly collectible. Die cracks and die breaks also add to the legend of the 1977 penny. Over time, coin dies wear out and can develop cracks. When a cracked die strikes a coin, it leaves raised lines or lumps of metal on the coin's surface. Some 1977 cents exhibit dramatic die breaks that create large raised blobs, sometimes nicknamed cut errors, along the rim or across the design. These errors tell a story of a die in its final moments of use, and collectors are often fascinated by these tangible signs of the minting process breaking down. What truly pushes the 1977 1-cent coin into the realm of extraordinary valuations, however, is the combination of multiple errors on a single coin. A penny that has a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and a mint mark anomaly all at once would be incredibly rare. Coins with multiple major errors are exponentially scarcer than those with just one. In numismatics, rarity multiplied by demand can produce astronomical prices, especially when the coin is in excellent condition. Condition is another key factor that cannot be overstated. Most pennies from 1977 circulated heavily. They were used daily and often suffered wear, scratches, and damage. Finding any 1977 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition is already challenging. Finding one with a major error and perfect or near-perfect preservation is almost unheard of. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can command prices far beyond what most people would consider reasonable for a penny. When you add historic errors, unique characteristics, and near-perfect condition together, the value can skyrocket into legendary territory. There is also the human element of the coin collecting market to consider. Coins are not just metal objects. They are pieces of history that tell stories. The story of a 1977 penny slipping through the mint with an extreme error, surviving decades unnoticed, and then being discovered by a sharp-eyed collector is incredibly compelling. Wealthy collectors and investors are often willing to pay enormous sums to own a piece of history that no one else has. When a coin is believed to be unique, or one of only a handful in existence, bidding wars can erupt, driving prices to levels that seem almost unbelievable. The reported $342 million